It's very simple to be a Catholic. Go to Mass, pray the Rosary daily, go to confession often. You do those three things, and you are going to be successful in your faith.
Hello, and welcome to In Conversation with on Shalom World News. Today, we have another special guest. He is the founder of Trinitas Cellars, president and CEO of Pacific Hospitality Group, founder of the Busch firm, and chairman of the board and co-founder of Napa Institute. Let's welcome Tim Busch. Hello, Tim.
Hello, Donna. Thank you.
Well, we're so happy to have you on. You are a devout Catholic with a strong passion for your faith. What fuels your deep devotion, and how did Catholicism become so significant in your life?
Well, I'm a cradle Catholic, and so was brought up Catholic. I went to Catholic elementary school for the first 6 years, and was taught by Dominican sisters in Adrian, Michigan, at a Catholic school. And from there, I kind of developed the whole rubric and faith solution, and really retained it. I started going to Mass every day when I was in elementary school, and stayed active as a Catholic. I wasn't a daily communicant after I graduated from high school, but I did come back to being a daily communicant when I was in my mid 30s. And so when you practice the faith that much, the Holy Spirit works within you.
Yes, what motivated you to establish a Napa Institute with co-founder Father Robert Spitzer in 2011? And what do you see as its essential role today?
So I was in Legatus, have been for over 30 years, which is a Catholic CEO organization started back in the late 80s. I joined in 1990, and through that, I was involved in monthly meetings, and I started over 10 chapters on the West Coast, and began to meet interesting people that were also practicing their faith, and yet I thought there was a need for something more just beyond Catholic CEOs. And so I started a conference in the summer of 2011, and I had been collaborating with Father Robert Spitzer since the early 2000s. He'd been president of Gonzaga University, left there, came to Orange County, and has been pursuing his ministry there for over 20 years. And so
Mhm.
he's an intellect, and we wanted a very intellectual conference, and so we did. We had about 150 people show up to the first conference. It was in Napa. That's why we called it Napa Institute. And people that came were just on fire. And they had said it had to be more. But I was puzzled because I didn't intend it to be more. I just wanted to have an annual conference. So it was really the Spirit calling for Napa to be an organization that would touch thousands of lives and pursue many things, which over the last many years, 13, 14 years, um, it has turned into a Catholic lifestyle organization.
Wow. Well, tell us more about your partnership with a Father Spitzer and what were your primary goals when you started the collaboration?
So I met him. He was the national chaplain of Legatus, and I heard him speak. Asked him to lead a retreat for me in 2000. And I was so animated that I said, "We got to work together." And at the time, he was very busy running Gonzaga, wasn't quite ready for something like that. But as his years started to dial down, as far as leaving there, we started this organization called Magis. And today, Magis produces many books on spirituality, but also preparatory information for based on reason and faith for young people who are falling away from the faith. And so we become very good friends, almost 25 years friendship. And he's lives in Orange County where I live, and he's just a great inspiration. And so that's the collaboration. He is the president of Napa Institute and very much a part of the annual conference where he MCs the conference.
Well, as an accomplished businessman, how do you believe a faith perspective can positively impact a culture and society?
Well, that's the whole point. I think for decades in our society, we've left the Judeo Christian principles of our entire culture behind in this idea of what Monsignor James Shea from the University of Mary calls the religion of the day. And these are
Hmm.
false, earthly created, utopian type religions that steal from aspects of the Christian faith, but they're not the Christian faith. They don't have eternal salvation. They don't connect with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They really connect with the God of themselves. And we call this in the United States today wokeism. And so what's happened is many businesses have been encouraged, if not forced, into adopting this faith um, of of the world and abandoning their faith with Christianity or Catholicism. And so our goal is to really put people back in touch with their faith um, and have that be part of the guiding post of what they do in business and realize that that's what people really want. They don't want the religion of the day. It sounds
Hmm.
good, but it's very shallow. It's utopia and it's not real. And so whether it's the recent, whether it's LGBTQ or whether it's ESG or DEI and all these terms that we use in the United States, these are all made up things that are not. They have some scintilla of truth, but not really true. And as a result, they distract people from faith, and this is the devil's work.
So basically, it's the truth and the formation that sets it right for everyone. So the ones that thought that they were following the right path now know that that was misleading, and you're setting the right path for the ones that attend your conferences and your events, correct?
Yes, and really, it's we're just showing them the path Jesus Christ showed us 2,000 years ago, and the Bible's been showing us for thousands of years. And we're not creating the religion; we're just expressing that religion in the ways that the church has shown us how to do. And that's the beauty of our conference. Is nothing in the conference is unique. It's just something most people haven't seen from the point of view of liturgy um, and faith formation. This stuff
Hmm.
they don't get in their local parish. It's not possible in a 1 hour a week to translate the faith. And people think once you're out of school, you don't have to learn anything more about your faith. Your faith is very deep and it reveals itself continuously through your life until you die because God is there at an appointed time. And He sometimes we're not ready to hear some of these teachings until we we get better formed.
Talking about society, you often emphasize that good Christians make good citizens, and that for our faith, it needs to be publicly shared. Yet our social structures and moral norms are undergoing significant changes. In this context, how can one be both a good Christian and a good citizen?
Well, I think to be a good citizen, you have to be a good Christian or be devout to your faith, whatever that faith might be. But the faith of the world, the religion of the day, wokeism, is not a good citizenry faith. It's a lie. And ultimately, it leads to a form of socialism, if not communism. And it's a Marxist idea. It's an idea of dividing people. And so the state becomes God, not God being God. And there's old saying, more God, less government, less God, more government. And what that means is if you don't have God to trust in and rely on, that you need a state to regulate what you're going to do when you get up in the morning and how you're going to think and what you're going to read and what you're not going to read. This is not how God made us. He made us as people in his image and likeness, but free to make decisions, wrong decisions and
Mhm.
right decisions. And in a democracy such as ours, it's on this type of religion of the day is going to convert our beautiful country into one that is controlled by the state because
Mhm.
people lose an understanding of what is right or wrong. This is where you have with abortion. It starts with that, the ultimate evil. When you say that you must believe in abortion or you cannot be in a particular political party or win a political race because you're violating other people's rights to kill their unborn, this is so duplicitous, it's even hard to understand how rational people are thinking about it. That's just the most grotesque example of what we have going on in our society here in the United States and to a large degree elsewhere, where people are
Mhm.
making up what truth is, and it's you can't do that. I mean, it's like saying if I jump out of this building, I'm not going to fall down. I'm actually going to go up. Well, no, jump out of the building, you're going down. That's gravity, and that's truth, and that's how silly many of these principles that they're developing. Um, Dividing people, whether you're black or Asian, or whether you're white or Indian. This was never intended, and especially not here in the United States. We are an individual, and our ethnic background is important. But in society, it should have no importance or role as to how we are successful or unsuccessful. It should be, as Martin Luther King said, it should be our character, not the color of our skin. But somehow we're back to looking at the color of the skin as to how we discriminate against people or how we hire them or what schools they get into. It's just it's a lie, and it should be based on the individual and their meritocracy.
Many Catholics feel that this is the moment for re-evangelizing the United States. How does Napa Institute become a catalyst for this mission?
That's who we are. We're re-evangelizing the United States, and we're enabling other lay apostolates who do similar things in different roles to participate. We have 75 to 100 lay apostolates come to our summer conference. They're sponsors and they meet benefactors to help them. They share their apostolate mission, and people are interested to join, participate, and fund. The United
Mhm.
States has been very unique in allowing lay apostolates, which are tethered to the church, meaning they're not rogue. They're not out preaching a gospel inconsistent with the magisterium of the Roman Catholic Church. As a matter of
Mhm.
fact, in most cases, and ours particularly, we have an ecclesiastical advisor, a bishop, who signs off on everything that we do. And we have
Mm.
many priests that participate in our programs. So we're not unattached from the church. We're tethered to the church, but because
Mhm.
we're entrepreneurial, we can actually act more quickly than the hierarchical church can, and immersing the culture, recatechizing Catholics and converting non-Catholics to the faith, and teaching them it's very simple to be a Catholic. Go to mass, pray the rosary daily, go to confession often. You do those three things, and you are going to be successful in your faith. Now, there's deeper things you can do, but those three things are essential. And daily mass, because we have it so available in our country, especially in the urban areas, is a critical way to assure that the devil doesn't get between you and heaven.
That was a nice way of explaining that. Um, with the rise of atheism in America, what steps can the U.S. Catholic Church take to counter this trend and also with the help of Napa Institute?
Or there's a couple things. Number one, positively, we need to show the beauty and joy of living out our faith. Um, Atheists are miserable. Agnostics are miserable. They don't know it. They're enjoying the fruits of the world, but they're in the world and of the world. They're not of the future eternal salvation.
Mhm.
And many have gone faith dead. They're brain dead to faith, and they don't even know why they're unhappy, and they surely don't think religion is going to make a difference. They can always point to some bad examples of faith-based individuals who were not good, and the devil does attack leadership and priests and ministers, and they fall. We're in a spiritual warfare. It's good
Mhm.
against evil. Good wins, but there's a struggle. And the defense of the struggle is grace. And the grace comes from Mass, confession, the Rosary, and many other forms of worship that we have within our beautiful faith. And so we have to show them through example. We can preach, but we've got to show them through example that happiness and true joy comes from union with God, not being on your own, thinking you're God.
Tim, early Christians demonstrated a profound love for one another and for Jesus, even to the point of martyrdom. Do you agree that the intensity and the relationships and boldness in faith is diminishing within the church today?
I think there's examples of that in the general society, but the group that I run with, the people that come to Napa Institute, they're
Mhm.
extraordinarily vibrant. And this is part of the reason for the conference. We want people to witness that they're not alone. Even priests and religious sisters sometimes wonder if they're alone outside of their own order, outside of their own sphere of influence. And when we bring them together on a national and international basis, people who are serious about their faith are at Napa Institute, and they become more serious and stronger in their faith because of the encouragement of others. And we have live streamed and recorded every single talk in the last several years so we could spread the gospel on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, every place people
And
go to get information.
Eucharistic processions serve as public declarations of our faith, and it's a defense of our faith in the public square. How does Napa Institute view this opportunity to proclaim our faith to the world?
Yes, right now I think it's the most powerful thing we can do, and I think the Eucharistic Congress was divine providence to reinstate the understanding of the real presence. So less than a majority of Catholics in the pews didn't believe that the body and blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ is in the sacrament of the Eucharist. Now a majority do because of the Eucharistic Congress here in the United States. But how do we keep that going? And when I was a child in 1950s and 60s, we used to do small little Eucharistic procession around the church. It wasn't anything big because it was a very small parish in southeastern Michigan. From there, when I started the Napa Institute, I said in 2011, I want to begin every Napa Institute with a procession, which we did around the resort, which is a little bit of a walk, the big resort. Very nice. And many of the workers there, they would kneel down. They're Hispanics and understand the real presence. And when I started the business conference in New York, I wasn't that successful. And I was praying, and it came to me that although we had Mass and Rosary and we had confession, we didn't have a procession. So in 2021, we started a procession. It was in the middle of COVID. We only had 100 people. And in 2022, we had our second procession in New York. We had 1,000 people. And then I got the feeling that I think we're onto something. And we went to St. Patrick's Cathedral in 2023. And we had 5,000 people and 18 million views on social media. I encourage, and we're seeing this all over. We had the National Eucharistic Congress was culminated a procession that began on the four corners of the country, in many ways inspired by the New York 2023 procession on October 10th, just after the attacks. It was inspired by that, and the organizers came from our group and did a beautiful thing of carrying Jesus across the country. And I'm committed that we will continue this Eucharistic procession, which is next week, October the 15th, and we'll make it even richer. Because when we take Jesus to the public square, we not only give our witness, but we let Jesus, through the Holy Spirit, touch the hearts and souls of the unchurched who don't even know where St. Patrick's is, much less have gone in it. And when Jesus comes to them, they don't even know he is touching their hearts and minds and souls. And by doing that, we grant grace to ourselves and to them.
Yes, that's one way of introducing Jesus to the ones that don't know him. In little bits, then they will follow. They will go to St. Patrick's Cathedral. They will see what's going on, and the Lord will take care of touching them and having a personal relationship with them down the road. So Tim, thank you so much for your time in explaining what the Napa Institute does. And I pray that you will continue to touch people all over the world, not just here in the US, the ones that come from abroad to join your conferences. So, more power to Napa Institute. And thank you so much for joining us here on Shalom World's In Conversation With.
Thank you very much. And thank you for your ministry and your service globally to our Christian friends. God bless you.
Thank, thank you. God bless you.